Well, it has finally been 10,000 miles since I did the engine swap in this car. And I have to say, I surprised myself. Because at first, I didn't think it was going to be this trouble-free. Now, saying that, I have just jinxed myself, so I probably won't even make it home during filming this video. But anyways, the last 10,000 miles on this car have been fantastic, and I am so excited that it has been so trouble-free. These cars have a reputation for being absolutely bulletproof to an extent. Anything like that is just to an extent. You know, if you neglect these things, they'll work. Not very well, but it'll work. But I take very meticulous care of this car, so it's just so nice to see the fruits of my labor finally paying off in the form of this car. So anyways, yeah, when I put the engine back in the car, there was an oil leak, and all it was an O-ring in the oil drain tube from the turbocharger, which I had it fixed in like an hour, so that was all that was wrong with it. It was so easy to fix. Apart from that, nothing has really gone wrong. It does leak oil out of the one seal that I didn't replace when I had the engine out of the car and I did all the different seals and such. The one that I didn't replace was the rear main, because it was such a pain in the butt to get to, and it's a rope seal, but I didn't replace it, and now it leaks. So it's a very small leak, thank God. So it's just like a little dime-sized spot in the driveway, and you can see it. The bottom of the bell housing is wet, so that's where it's coming from for sure. But apart from that, it leaks oil nowhere else. It has very little blow-by, doesn't leak any coolant, leaks no transmission fluid. It just leaks a little tiny bit of oil, so it's very easy to deal with. And otherwise, it's been awesome. Now, of course, like anything, there have been some small issues that have cropped up. Pretty easy to fix, you know, some brake issues. It needed brakes, so I redid the fronts. I put new rotors and new pads on, and I redid the lines, like the rubber lines that come from the hard metal lines down to the caliper. I did those, so the front is really good to go. And the back does need to be worked on some. It needs new rotors in the back and new pads and the new rubber lines. Otherwise, brakes, they check out just fine. The car stops great, so it's not really a problem. It needs new tires in the back. The tires that are on it right now came with the car, and I thought they were okay, but it turns out that they're actually kind of old, so I'm going to replace those at some point. I already did the fronts, so. The biggest issue with this car right now is the drive shaft, and there is one U-joint in the middle of the drive shaft that has soured on us. It's no good. It's to the point, actually, where if you take the drive shaft out of the car, which I've done a couple times, you can hold it vertically and it'll just stand straight up. Like, it doesn't even bend where the U-joint is, which is an obvious issue. It's so stiff, and you can feel it when you're driving, especially when it's cold outside, like it has been the past couple of weeks. You know, you take off from letting it sit overnight, oh man, it's a very rough, like grindy kind of vibration, and it comes in waves too, and it really depends on how fast you're going. So if you're just going like 35, like between 35 and 50, it's super bad, and like you can feel it in your face, like your face fat jiggles. It sucks. But the more you drive it, it does kind of calm down a little bit, and especially if you exceed 60 miles an hour, it does get better. So like interstate travel is not so bad. But other than that, other than the drive shaft needing replaced, there's not much that needs to be done in this car. And what does need to be done is purely cosmetic. Like, the hood could use a repaint. It's cracking and it's not near as brilliant as it once was. And the trunk's the same way. It's very chalky. If you get it wet and you kind of rub it, your fingers are white. But that's just a good old enamel paint. Other than that, like none of the interior dome lights work, so I'll have to replace those at some point. But other than that, I am so happy that this car has worked as well as it has since I put the engine in it. And keep in mind, this was the first time I've ever done a swap like that before, so I was unsure of what I was doing. I read a lot on the forums. I learned so much doing it, and it's so nice just to see how well it's worked out. So hopefully it continues to be this flawless, and hopefully down the road it keeps on going. But anyways, I'm so happy to see that it's held up this well, because I really want to take this car on a road trip, and I was going to this year, but we talked about it and decided that since the car is so fresh in terms of being put back together with its new engine, I didn't want to drive it 8,000 miles across the country and back on an engine that may or may not make it. So it's nice now that it's already been 10,000 miles. So the bugs, for the most part, are worked out, and next summer we've got a lot of stuff planned for this car. So it'll be really, really great to see what happens and how well everything goes. So on another note, this car will be put into storage here in the next couple of weeks because winter in Ohio, road salt, road brine, the horrible stuff for old German cars, or old cars in general. It's horrible. It's horrible on any car. So this guy will be put into storage here in the next couple of weeks. As for right now, it's actually okay because they have not started salting the roads. It has not been cold enough. It has snowed one time, like one legitimate time. But the ground is so warm it didn't stick at all, and there was no sense in throwing down road salt. So yeah, as of right now, the nights get below freezing, but right now, I mean, hell, it's 50 degrees outside, so it's obviously not too cold. So I'm gonna keep driving it as long as I can and just keep enjoying it. But I know soon when it gets really cold and does start snowing, and it'll be in storage. So apart from that, thank you so much for watching this video, and you guys have an awesome day. See you.